to Sailing Magic Carpet. In this episode, we visit the most impressive fortress I've ever been to, dock next to the most impressive catamaran I've ever seen, and see a very impressive array of classic boats gathered together in Mahón for the annual Classic Boat Regatta. It's been an impressive few days. Plus, I have a bit of fun and take some creative license with the narration. You'll see soon enough. Aladino and I became really good friends with Ovi and Corey, an American couple who had sailed their Pearson 40 over the Atlantic to the Mediterranean. Together, we decided to pay the small entrance fee to explore the fortress of Isabel II on La Mola. This fortress lies at the entrance to the huge natural harbor of Mahón, and has gone through many different construction phases, first by the British and then by the Spanish defending from the British. It's interesting to see the variations in building techniques used over the years, from the huge thick stone walls of old to the comparatively sleek concrete underground bunkers. This is the one where we walk to begin a journey of figs and old walls from within. Above all the boats and on layers of stone, the Mola stands on the cliffs of Mahón. With Ovi and Corey from the Silver Cloud, we held up our cameras as we looked around at vertical history standing in peace, but reminding of times of war and unease. Wandered around for hours on end, watching the waves and the way that they bend for the whims of the wind, who can sometimes lend a beautiful gust or disaster to men. The story of strength and military will haunts the shadows of these cliffs still, and those ghosts will live until the threat of conquest has had its fill. One of the reasons I like to sail is to bring my home to hear new tales of great injustice and incredible might, of all the things that didn't go right. I wonder who wins when a fortress is built which sees no battles and embodies just guilt, the slowness of stone, the quickness of minds which are constantly racing against precious time. The progression of war is clear in the way you can see the technology of every new day. The old-style cannons, modern-day guns, now slowly fading beneath summer sun. All that I'm saying is when all's 2020, when our tempers come down and begin to get steady, it's easy to see the errors in thought, walls 20 foot thick that slowly will rot. But time and again we build those same walls, we spend all our money and wait till they fall. At least walls on land can be broken down, but walls in the mind infect all ground. Today was a day of stories and ghosts, exploring the places that matter the most, to wonder and think about what's the best to take and defend, or simply to rest. It was hard to leave our little anchorage after making friends with so many of the cruisers there, but we were getting eager to change our horizon, and so we decided to explore deeper into the harbor of Mahón. So we're finally getting ready to leave this anchorage. We've been here for, like 5 or 6 days now, which is the longest we've spent in an anchorage so far, but it's just so nice and such a cool community of people. We've spent pretty much every evening over on someone else's boat, having dinner and talking and just getting to know the cruisers around here. Made some friends that I think we're going to keep for a really long time. So that's such a nice feeling, to feel like you're part of a bit of a community, because sometimes sailing can begin to feel a little bit isolating. You're always sailing away from your friends and you're always in a new place, but at the same time that gives you an opportunity to create new communities and new friends around you. So it's been really sweet to find that here. But the itch is now settled in and we're ready to get moving again, pull the anchor up, and that's what I'm about to do. So our plan now is to go a little bit further into the Mahón Inlet. We're not actually going that far today. We're literally just motoring down into this huge inlet which cuts deep into the island of Menorca. And this inlet has apparently been fought over for centuries because it's one of the best natural harbors in the entire Mediterranean. So we're going to go check it out a little bit. We also have to provision the boat. We're a bit low on water now. So do some stuff like that, and then we're going to get going and explore some of the gorgeous calas on Menorca. So cala, I guess, means bay in Spanish, I suppose, would make sense. And apparently there's just some like amazing clear sand. There's one bay which is apparently called like the floating boat bay because the water is so clear that the shadow of the boats on the bottom make it look like the boats are just floating in thin air. So super stoked to go see some of that. The natural harbor is one of the largest in the world at 5 kilometers, that's 3.1 miles long, and up to 900 meters or 2,900 feet wide. It almost feels like motoring down a large river or a narrow lake. We found a dock island where we decided to fill up our water tanks. I've never seen a dock like this before. It had running water but no connections to land. You had to take your dinghy if you wanted to reach the town. It's an interesting concept, kind of like anchoring, but you can fit more boats in a tighter area. We only stopped for a few minutes to fill up water, but docked next to us was perhaps the most impressive catamaran I've ever seen.
Check out this insane thing. It doesn't even fit in the super view of the GoPro, almost. So, boat from Argentina with a flag the size of our boat. And apparently it has a museum on it, all about Antarctica. Yeah, it would be interesting checking it out.
Ice Lady Patagonia 2 was the flagship of the Argentinian Oceanographic Foundation and has been on several research expeditions. It apparently has a free Antarctic museum on board. We tried to see if we could talk to someone, but we didn't see anyone on the deck. Now the ship is apparently for sale, so if you have about $3 million to spare and you'd like an epic adventure machine, then maybe it's for you. After filling up water, we continued our journey down the Mahón harbor. It's so beautiful here. The city is just built on top of cliffs and houses clinging to rock and palm trees sprouting up out of everywhere. It's amazing. We found a place to tie the boat and then went to explore town. It's so funny seeing Magic Carpet at a dock because she's always at anchor, so it's kind of like a funny feeling to step from the boat and arrive onto land. And we're a little bit outside the center, but it's not too far to walk, so we're gonna go explore some of the downtown now. It's evening, it's like 7:30, but we're in Spain, so that's pretty much the time you wake up and go for a stroll. Imagine going to the grocery store and you're just like, oh yeah, I'll just pick up a pig leg. So the whole town is decorated with naval artifacts because it does have a pretty rich naval history and a lot of sailboats here. So it's a good place for us to be. By coincidence, there was a classic boat regatta being held during the time we were there. We walked along the docks marveling at the incredible condition of these boats. Some of them were built as long ago as the 1800s but are still in gorgeous condition. We really appreciate the amount of work it takes to keep boats looking like this. We ended the evening with some tapas and wine, and then headed back to our bed on our dear little magic carpet. And of course, to end the episode, a huge thank you to all of our Patreons, and most especially to Lloyd Falbaum, Pat Mornan, Scott Grummeter, and James F. Gardner. Have a wonderful day, you all.